I've always had the hardest time saying what my favorite things are when it comes to different levels of media. Through cartoons, movies, songs, and video games, most people can always tell you what their favorite is from the top of their head. But I couldn't for the longest time. However, I should have come to the conclusion sooner for me to fully say to myself, this is my absolute favorite. And when it comes to video games, the Sly Cooper Trilogy is my all-time favorite video game franchise. Now, of course, I don't make it evident that it has been in recent times through my videos, especially knowing my record with enjoying almost anything Sonic related. Though, for those who have seen and have been here since I was a child, basically, you would know that some of my very first videos were of me covering news for Sly Cooper, Thieves and Times, when it was just getting announced. So the love I have for the series has always been here on this channel. Stuffed away in the back for sure, but it's still there. But where did it all start for me? Well, weird enough, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus wasn't my first Sly game. I actually got the trilogy in the reverse order. How did that happen? Well, I was only 6 to 8 years old and couldn't count, of course, and picked up the third game on a whim, and pretty much as a consolation prize. And if you probably guessed by this point, this is going to be similar to my Persona 5 review. Please watch that one as well. I worked stupidly hard on it. It's one of my favorite videos that I've ever made. For the time now, I will be reviewing my favorite video game series from the main trilogy to Thieves and Times. And as much as I would love to talk about the second and third installments, let's do things not the way I did it, and do it in the proper chronological order, starting with Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus.
Together we pledged to track down the Fiendish Five, avenge my father, and steal back the Thievius Raccoonus. I knew I was about to face the toughest test of my life. On this mission, I would either become a master thief like my ancestors before me, or fail and allow my family name to bite the dust.
A classic PlayStation 2 game made in 2002 by Sucker Punch Productions, the same game company that in the coming times will make the infamous series and the new game of
Ghost of Tsushima.
With those classic times, they would be compared and rivaled with other PlayStation companies of Naughty Dog and Insomniac Games. Sucker Punch's big step was that of Sly Cooper, a game about a raccoon thief trying to get back pages of a special book endeared to him, called the
Thingus Rackamagookus,
or better known as the Thievius Raccoonus, a book passed down through generations of his family that was made by thieves for thieves, and how to be a badass one at that. And Sly says it best himself.
The Thievius Raccoonus. Anyone who read it learned to be especially sneaky, which is why we specialize in stealing from criminals. After all, there's no honor, no challenge, no fun stealing from ordinary people. You rip off a master criminal, and you know you're a master thief.
Though in the most unfortunate and tragic way possible, the book was stolen by a group of world-class criminals known as the Fiendish Five. They stole and ripped up the pages out of the book and moved about into the world to continue their villainous ways. And the cherry on top, they killed Sly's father while doing so, right in front of the young boy's eyes. Now dropped off at an orphanage, he meets his new best friends, or rather new family, of Bentley the Turtle and Murray the Hippo. They would work together and all become thieves to help Sly get back what's rightfully his. That's really the most bare-bone way of explaining the plot of the game, because it really doesn't get super deep with its story. You just go place to place to beat the shit out of the Fiendish Five and take back what's yours. That's really it. I may say the story isn't too deep. However, one thing I've always found charming was the characters who are all part of this adventure and plot. The characters within this world are very interesting, I would say. Now, it's not high-class heist writing, but I've always been invested into the people in the series. Sly, for example, is already unique to me. I remember I showed my friend the trilogy for the first time, and one question he asked me was, "So why do you play as the villain?" And I answered him with, "You're not." Yes, Sly and his friends are thieves, but that doesn't automatically make them evil people. Throughout the games, they've dealt with some true scumbags and know what evil really is. The Cooper gang doesn't actively harm others. They just steal. That's it. Along with always being chased by a lovely and hot-headed Interpol cop known as Carmelina Montoya Fox. Always chasing Sly down, but only shows up at the last second to clean up the mess the real criminals have going on. And speaking of which, that's another captivating aspect I've always enjoyed from the series. The villains are quite something else. Granted, I know in the first game, not all of them are that special, say with Ms. Ruby or Raleigh, but there's at least some background to them. At the start of each episode, you learn about them, on why they became who they are. With the exception of Raleigh, most of the Fiendish Five had nothing when they were young. And now that I think about it, the group itself is an odd parallel to Sly. Sly pretty much had his life laid out for him, to be a thief, but he uses those skills, most of the time, for ultimately good goals that benefit everyone in the long run, even if that wasn't his main goal to begin with. While the Fiendish Five also had troubling times when growing up, they used their skills and talents for revenge and sinister methods. Mugshot may have gotten all the power he wanted, but he took it too far and crushed an entire city under his thumb and rule. The Panda King may have become a great fireworks artist like he wanted, but because of what happened to him when he was younger, he used that talent to kill others, innocent people, which in the end, it's fitting that someone like Sly Cooper, of all people, knocked his teeth in. Sly's a thief, but he not only got back what was his from a personal standpoint, but saved a number of others from the Panda King's future wrath. Then there's Clockwork. Like, damn. Kendrick Lamar, damn. This owl is a giant mystery to me, and I adore that. I know a number of people think that even compared to the Fiendish Five, and ignoring the premise that he's the mastermind behind everything, he's not all that. Mostly from the fact that we don't know much about him, but that's why Clockwork works. Even Sly didn't know what to say about him, only taking note that he definitely shouldn't be alive by this point. It doesn't make any sense. Let me put it like this. Can you imagine that your parents or any other family member tells you that, oh yeah, there's this serial killer after us, just our specific family though, for being too good at what we do and living basically, and will most likely kill us, and there's almost nothing we can do about it. He did it 10 years ago, 30 years ago, 100 years ago, and he's still alive. Like, that's fucking horrifying. The game really sets the tension when you're finally shooting down this robotic demon owl in the middle of a volcano, and almost nothing's working, it seems.
Nice shooting, Sly! You got him! Wow, that's one tough owl.
I don't get it. You're so familiar with my family. You must have known my father had a son. If you hated the Coopers so much, why did you let me live when you stole the Thievius Raccoonus?
Because I wanted to show the world that without your precious book, the Cooper line was nothing.
Ah, well, there's where you're wrong. The Thievius Raccoonus doesn't create great thieves. It takes great thieves to create the Thievius Raccoonus.
Enough, Sly Cooper. It ends here. I will finish you like I finished your father. Then the Cooper line will be erased and the only monster thief will be Clockwork.
I know for a game review I've said more about the story than the gameplay itself, but that's because it shows how much I love this series. When you get into it and look into those types of details, it makes everything better. It's all about presentation, I'll say. So when it comes to graphics, how does it look? I'll say that I enjoy the way the characters present themselves, either through dialogue and interactions with each other. Again, I'm not the biggest graphic buff. I genuinely don't judge that first when it comes to a game. Your surroundings are always there to remind you that you are more or less a single thief just trying to make their way through. How everything looks is right for the tone of the level you're in, going from a creepy swamp of Miss Ruby to the cold, empty snowland that's dominated by the Panda King. Even looks better in the HD collection, of course, as well. You go from slapping a frog all the way to fighting an immortal creature. So safe to say that the game sure knows how to up the scale, and only gets better in future installments. And nothing can be better without music. The music in each location you go to really does fit the theme and environment you're in. Nothing really all that loud or bombastic. Again, you are just a small thief trying to slip in and out. So the music mixed with that in mind helps the gameplay overall. Though now that I brought it up, the gameplay itself is honestly nothing that immersive. You're not doing 100 different things every time you play. It's more like every 4 times. Throughout this game, 85% of the time, you're playing as Sly Cooper, trying to sneak through the levels from various methods of platforming. Sly's a very nimble raccoon as he can jump all around and climb here and there. As you complete a level, you get a key, which furthers your progress into the big bad's territory so you can get closer and closer to face them mano a mano. The levels themselves are pretty quick and short, especially when you know what you're doing. As long as you know that your best friends in this game are the X button and the circle button, you should never fail.
And hold down the circle button. Just jump and hit the circle button.
So jump and hit the circle button to land on narrow spots.
That's a rough translation.
Jump and hit the circle button.
Hold down the circle button to drop out of sight. You have to get close.
Then hit the circle button to grab it. Yeah.
However, I'll be honest and say that there are rather some irksome moments in the game. A bit of that honor goes to the number of mini games, you can call them, where instead of the usual platforming, you do something else in trying to get a key, like taking control of a small submarine, the team van for races, a turret, a hover. They're something for sure. I can safely say that it's something that I'm not too fond of. Do I hate them? No. Am I ever looking forward to playing them? Another no. Most of the time it feels like a chore that I have to do and I just want to get it over with. Though again, most of the levels are pretty short, so if you have the skills to deal with it, it'll go by fast. Though if you really want a challenge, then try your hand at the clue bottles, and more specifically, the Master Thief sprints. Scattered throughout the platforming levels are clue bottles that you can break so you can unlock a vault inside the level. Find all of them and you get an actual power-up for Sly, ranging from new attacks, defying all logics of physics, and straight up useless shit. Honestly, there's nothing really wrong with these. They just serve for you to explore a little bit more into the level, so they're fine. What I don't like though is when you're actively keeping up with unlocking all the vaults, and at the last one you need to open, the game will flat out tell you, no, you can't open this one, fuck off, kill a giant owl first, then come back. Only, of course, to say that, sorry dude, you didn't get all the pages. Yeah, cause you didn't let me, smartass! Then there's the Master Thief sprints, where you speedrun through the levels under a time limit. And boy oh boy, if you really don't know what you're doing and know the levels in and out, understand what you can and can't jump on, then the idea of fun is shot in the ass, along with some legit bullshit design. I'm mostly talking about a certain level of a cunning disguise. It's legit impossible to beat this with a barrel, how the original level was intended for. So you say screw it and find some way just to reach the goal by any means. But it's also impossible to get past the last pair of globe arrows to finish it. You definitely need a lucky charm to beat it. It's so stupid because it feels like you're not winning from your own skill or knowledge of the level itself. You only beat it because you cheat the system. And you have to cheat the system to beat it. It's so dumb. And speaking of really dumb things, slight tangent, even though I've played the games a dozen times, I'm replaying these on the HD collection because my PlayStation 2 has been on the fritz the past year or two, and I don't want to bother with that. I want to know the genius whose idea was to change the Ms. Ruby boss fight. They really said, yeah, let's take out the music in a rhythm-based boss fight. I know by this point I am nitpicking a bit, because for the clue bottles and Master Thief sprints especially, they are completely optional things. You don't need them to beat the game. The clue bottles are only really there to make a more complete ending, and you can just ignore the Master Thief sprints. But the game likes telling you that you should do these, and when you do them, you're met with these problems and barriers, and there's nothing you can really do about them. But maybe I'm just being a bitch and I just suck this whole time, because I've seen people play this game in greater ways than I could have through legit speedrunning tactics or through feats I didn't think was possible, proving once again that I am below the average human.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I felt bad leaving her stranded on that giant rock, but I knew it wouldn't be long before we'd see each other again.
Although, I know by the end it sounds like I hated this game. No, absolutely not. I still love this game. I adore it in and out. And when you love any type of media, so be it a video game, a movie, show, so of course you'll have no problem gushing over the things you like, but you also shouldn't be afraid to point out some of the things that are cons or the negatives to it. I'll be honest, there are some few elements that I particularly don't enjoy, but I still love this game for what it's worth. And by this point, you might be a little confused by the title. Why do I think this is an underrated series? Well, from over a decade of being a hardcore fan, I genuinely haven't found or seen that many people who talk about these games as much as I would. I know just because I don't see any who talk about it doesn't mean they're non-existent. Oh, believe me, I know they're out there. There are some real dedicated people to this series. Though I can definitely tell you that the internet didn't break or anything when Thieves in Time was first announced, nearly a decade after the trilogy had ended. At least not to the amount that people lose their mind over the 100th Smash character or something. So because of that, I think the series is rather underrated. Though I am glad that other channels nowadays are keeping the community alive through any source of news they can get or from people experiencing the game for the first time. It's a pleasure to see others start to take an interest in what you like as well, and I would love to see more people talk about Sly Cooper. And that is the review of Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. I really very wanted to do these game reviews because they're some of my favorite video games of all times, as I just said at the beginning. And the Persona 5 review that I did a few months back, or whatever time you're watching this, that was kind of a preview into what I'm going to be doing. Because Sly Cooper isn't going to be the only games I'll be reviewing. I want to do Jak and Daxter, I'm a fan of those, and I'll eventually have to do the behemoth series that is the Ratchet & Clank series, especially from the fact that they just got announced for a new game. We'll first start with my favorite, that being the Sly Cooper series, so I hope you guys enjoyed this and are hopefully looking forward to this. I guess any tips or anything that you could say when it comes to these types of reviews, because they are definitely going to be a lot longer than the usual stuff that I do. So let me know what you guys think about this type of stuff in the comments below. I'm all ears and stuff. You know what to do with the links that I provide as well. Stay safe out there. Thank you for watching. That's greatly appreciated, of course. Have a great day, have a great night, and everything else, you know what to do.